It was an early morning in the city, the sun just beginning to cast its golden light over the bustling streets. Commuters hurried along sidewalks, coffee in hand, ready to face the day ahead. Among the throng, a public bus stood at the stop, its doors open to welcome the morning rush. Inside, the bus was already half full, passengers settling into their routines, some with newspapers, others with headphones, lost in their own worlds. At the wheel was Miss Lana, a woman in her early 40s, wearing a modest uniform and a scarf that covered her hair. Her demeanor was calm, her eyes sharp and focused. She greeted each passenger with a nod or a soft "good morning." Her presence exuded a quiet confidence, though it went unnoticed by most. Among the new arrivals that morning were 3 boys, Jake, Liam, and Ethan. Dressed in the latest fashion, their expensive gadgets in hand, they boarded the bus with an air of arrogance. Their loud laughter and dismissive glances at the other passengers immediately set them apart. As they made their way to the back, they exchanged looks, silently agreeing that this ride was beneath them. Unbeknownst to them, this ordinary bus ride was about to become an extraordinary lesson in humility. Hello, my friends. I hope all you are fine. This is Narrative Stories channel. Let's start this story. It was an early morning in the city, the sun just beginning to cast its golden light over the bustling streets. Commuters hurried along sidewalks, coffee in hand, ready to face the day ahead. Among the throng, a public bus stood at the stop, its doors open to welcome the morning rush. Inside, the bus was already half full, passengers settling into their routines, some with newspapers, others with headphones, lost in their own worlds. At the wheel was Ms. Lana, a woman in her early 40s, wearing a modest uniform and a scarf that covered her hair. Her demeanor was calm, her eyes sharp and focused. She greeted each passenger with a nod or a soft "good morning." Her presence exuded a quiet confidence, though it went unnoticed by most. Among the new arrivals that morning were 3 boys, Jake, Liam, and Ethan. Dressed in the latest fashion, their expensive gadgets in hand, they boarded the bus with an air of arrogance. Their loud laughter and dismissive glances at the other passengers immediately set them apart. As they made their way to the back, they exchanged looks, silently agreeing that this ride was beneath them. Unbeknownst to them, this ordinary bus ride was about to become an extraordinary lesson in humility. As the bus pulled away from the stop, Ms. Lana navigated the busy streets with practiced ease. The engine hummed steadily, and the cityscape blurred past the windows. Jake, Liam, and Ethan, seated at the back, began to chat loudly, their voices carrying over the quiet murmur of the other passengers. Their conversation soon turned to the bus driver, Ms. Lana. "Look at her," Jake sneered, nudging Liam. "A woman driving a bus. What's next?" Liam laughed. "Yeah, shouldn't she be in a kitchen somewhere?" Ethan, not wanting to be left out, added, "Or maybe she's trying to make a statement." Pathetic. Their laughter echoed through the bus, drawing the attention of the other passengers. Some looked away, embarrassed by the boys' behavior. An elderly woman clutched her handbag tighter, while a young mother with a child exchanged a worried glance with her neighbor. Ms. Lana, however, remained unperturbed. She kept her eyes on the road, her expression unchanged. Despite the growing discomfort among the passengers, the boys continued their taunts. They imitated Ms. Lana's calm demeanor, their exaggerated impressions drawing more laughter. The atmosphere grew tense, but Ms. Lana's steady hands never wavered on the wheel. She glanced at the rearview mirror occasionally, her eyes meeting those of the mocking boys with a look of recognition, though they did not notice. The boys' mockery grew louder and more blatant. With each passing minute, they began to comment on Ms. Lana's appearance, her age, and her choice of profession. "She probably couldn't get a real job," Liam scoffed. "Who'd hire her for anything important? Maybe she thinks driving a bus is a big deal." Ethan chimed in, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Like she's doing us all a favor." Through it all, Ms. Lana remained composed. Her focus was on the road ahead, her hand steady on the wheel. She occasionally glanced at the rearview mirror, her eyes calm and steady. She seemed unfazed by the boy's cruel words, as if she had encountered far worse in her lifetime. The elderly woman and the young mother exchanged another concerned look, whispering about the boy's behavior, but no one intervened. The bus continued its journey, the cityscape changing from bustling streets to quieter residential areas. Ms. Lana expertly navigated each turn, her concentration unwavering. The boys, meanwhile, seemed to grow more restless. Their jokes became cruder, their laughter louder. They were clearly enjoying the attention, reveling in their perceived superiority. Unbeknownst to them, the bus was approaching a busy intersection where a minor accident had occurred. Traffic was starting to back up, and the sound of sirens could be heard in the distance. Ms. Lana's eyes narrowed slightly as she assessed the situation. She began to slow the bus, her movements precise and controlled. The boys, however, were too caught up in their mockery to notice the change in their surroundings. As the bus approached the intersection, the traffic jam became evident. Cars were honking, and drivers were gesturing angrily. Ms. Lana's face remained calm as she expertly navigated the bus through the congested streets. She found an alternate route, maneuvering the large vehicle with a skill that left the passengers in silent awe. Just as she was about to clear the traffic, Jake shouted, "Why is a woman even allowed to drive a bus? It's ridiculous." Ms. Lana's calm demeanor did not falter. She pulled the bus to a safe stop at the side of the road and stood up. The passengers watched in anticipation as she reached up and removed her scarf. The transformation was immediate and electrifying. Gasps filled the bus as passengers recognized her. The elderly woman clutched her heart, and the young mother covered her mouth in shock. "That's Dr. Lana Hayes," someone exclaimed, "the inventor of the new eco-friendly engine." The rich boys were left speechless, their faces turning pale. They had been mocking a woman whose contributions to science and technology were celebrated worldwide. Dr. Lana Hayes, a name known to all for her groundbreaking work in sustainable energy, stood before them, her modest uniform and scarf unable to hide her true identity any longer. The revelation left the bus in stunned silence. Passengers whispered among themselves, their voices filled with admiration and disbelief. The boys, who moments ago had been so full of arrogance and disdain, now sat in embarrassed silence. Their faces were flushed with shame, and they avoided eye contact with anyone, especially Ms. Lana. Ms. Lana, now Dr. Hayes, addressed the passengers with the same calm and composed demeanor she had shown throughout the journey. "I chose to drive this bus to understand the real-world impact of my inventions," she explained, "to stay grounded and connected to the people who use them every day." Her words resonated deeply with the passengers. They saw her not just as a brilliant scientist, but as a humble and dedicated individual who cared about the community. The elderly woman smiled warmly, and the young mother wiped away a tear. The boys, realizing the gravity of their behavior, stood up and approached Ms. Lana. "We're so sorry," Jake said, his voice trembling with sincerity. "We didn't know who you were. We had no right to say those things." Ms. Lana nodded, accepting their apology. "It's important to remember that respect should be given to everyone, regardless of their job or appearance," she said. Her words were a gentle yet powerful reminder of the lesson the boys had just learned. The atmosphere in the bus had transformed from one of mockery to one of respect and admiration. As Ms. Lana put her scarf back on and returned to her seat, she was greeted with smiles and nods of appreciation from the passengers. She resumed driving, her focus once again on the road. But the energy in the bus was markedly different. The boys, now humbled by the experience, sat quietly, reflecting on their behavior. They promised themselves to be more respectful and considerate in the future. The passengers, inspired by Ms. Alana's humility and achievements, felt a renewed sense of community and respect for one another. As the bus continued its journey, the story of the hidden hero began to spread among the passengers. They shared it with friends and family, teaching the lesson of humility and respect that they had learned that morning. Ms. Lana's example became a beacon of inspiration for many, a reminder that true greatness often lies beneath the surface. Days later, Jake, Liam, and Ethan were seen volunteering at a local community center. Inspired by Ms. Lana's example, they wanted to give back to the community and make amends for their past behavior. Their story, along with the lesson they learned on that fateful bus ride, spread throughout the city. People spoke of the bus driver who was more than she appeared, a celebrated scientist who chose to stay connected to the everyday lives of the people she served. The rich boy's transformation from arrogance to humility became a testament to the power of respect and the impact one individual can have on many. The bus ride that began with mockery ended with a powerful lesson in humility and respect, leaving a lasting impact on everyone involved. Ms. Lana, the hidden hero, continued to drive her bus, knowing that her small act of staying grounded had made a significant difference in the lives of those she encountered. Thank you for being a part of Narrative Stories. Your support and engagement mean the world to us. We are committed to bringing you the best in storytelling. What kinds of stories would you like to see next? Share your thoughts in the comments below.